I, Jason Gaius, commit to be vigilant and bear in mind at all times the risk to myself and my colleagues from COVID 19. I promise to take all necessary precautions that prevent the spread of this deadly virus. I promise to follow and encourage others to follow the key COVID appropriate behavior, to always wear a mask or face cover, especially when in public places, to maintain a minimum distance of 6 feet from others, to wash my hands frequently and thoroughly with soap and water. Together, we will win this fight against COVID 19. Good morning, children. Welcome back. Today, we are going to study about the Second World War. In the previous class, we have studied about the causes of the First World War. And we have seen that the First World War ended with the Treaty of Versailles. The same Treaty of Versailles was the main cause of the Second World War. Through the Treaty of Versailles, the Allied powers had done injustice to Germany. All the provisions of the treaty were written in favor of the victors. And so the German people felt humiliated. They believed that the Allied powers did not consider their feeling. We have learned that through the Treaty of Versailles, the Allied powers had done injustice to Germany. All the provisions of the treaty were written in favor of Britain, France, and such countries who were the part of Allied powers. Germany had lost a large portion of its territory. Not only that, she had to pay war indemnity of a very huge amount. Again, France was allowed to mine coal from Germany for 15 years. This all caused the Germans to think that their spirit was crushed. They were being humiliated. And ultimately, this Treaty of Versailles became one of the important causes of Second World War, as the Germans decided that they wanted to take a revenge on the one-sided Treaty of Versailles. Rise of fascism and Nazism was another important reason. We have already studied about the growth of nationalism. Nationalism itself is a good concept. One should love his or her country. And when it grows to the extreme level, it becomes not at all advisable. The same extreme nationalism gave birth to the concept or the ideas of fascism and Nazism. Fascism was a political concept which was developed in Italy under Benito Mussolini. Nazism was the same political concept which was flourished under Adolf Hitler in Germany. Both the supporters of fascism and Nazism, they gave undue respect to their own countries without thinking the feelings, without giving any care to the neighboring countries. They were not ready to respect the feelings of others. They always believed that they are the best. While we love our country, we have to be aware of the fact that others too have the same feelings. Whereas here in Nazism as well as in fascism, the people believed that their country is the best and they tried their maximum to glorify their country. The steps taken by the supporters of fascism and Nazism to glorify their country became another cause of Second World War. Policy of appeasement was the third reason. The Allied powers understood that they have done injustice to Germany through the Treaty of Versailles. So, when they reacted, many a time the winning countries like France, Britain, and USA, they ignored. Though they did not express, in their heart they believed that Germany had all the rights to protest because they knew that through the Treaty of Versailles they had done injustice to Germany and Italy. Not only that, these countries wanted to prevent the growing popularity and influence of Bolshevism and communism in Russia. See, the countries like France and Britain are capitalist countries. They could not tolerate the growing popularity and influence of communism and Bolshevism in Russia. They wanted to use Germany and Italy as an effective tool against the spreading of communism, as they feared that communism would entirely destroy their economy. So, they followed a policy of appeasement. Policy of appeasement means if Germany or Italy does something against the provisions of Treaty of Versailles, they were ignored. Japanese invasion of China was another important cause of the Second World War. Japan was a colonizing country of Asia. It attacked Manchuria, a Chinese province, in 1931. China approached the League of Nations to complain about invasion. But the leading members of the League of Nations, like Britain and France, did not pay any attention towards the prey of China. When Japan realized that no action was taken against her, it joined with the Berlin-Rome axis to form Tokyo-Berlin-Rome axis, and it extended the policy of expansion. In 1933, Japan left the League of Nations and started to occupy the territories already under the control of Britain and America. Even though Japan was creating troubles to Britain and France, they continued to follow the policy of appeasement, as they thought that Japan could be effectively used to weaken the growing power of China. Ultimately, this policy of appeasement became the cause of Second World War. Failure of the League of Nations was another important reason. The Treaty of Versailles clearly stated about the formation of an international organization to prevent the outbreak of another world war. As per those provisions, the League of Nations was formed, but unfortunately it could not achieve its goal. One of the most important reasons was that the powerful countries like USA was not made as a member of the League. Not only that, even the countries like Britain and France, they did not take any care towards the demands or pleas put forward by the member countries. This all suggested that the League of Nations was a failure. We have already seen the example of China. When Japan attacked Manchuria, China appealed before the League. But the League did not pay any attention towards the demand of China. This all suggested that the League of Nations was a failure, and ultimately the member countries lost their faith in the League, and a war became inevitable. Hitler's invasion of Poland was another important reason. We know, as per the provisions of the Treaty of Versailles, Germany was divided and dancing was given to Poland. Germany wanted to get back dancing as the majority of people living in dancing were Germans. Not only that, if it was conquered, it could be possible to connect with East Prussia. In 1939, Germany signed a non-aggression pact with Russia. Germany accused Poland of committing atrocities on Germans living in Poland. On these all bases, German armies marched to Poland on September 1, 1939. On September 1, 1939, German armies marched to Poland, but it was opposed by France and Britain. They gave an ultimatum to Germany to withdraw from Poland. In reply, Germany attacked France. On September 3rd, France and Britain declared war on Germany. Thus, the attack of Poland by Germany was the beginning of the Second World War. Though the war was started in September 1939, till April 1940, there were no actual fighting. The war was almost dormant. From 1940 onwards, the war spread into a great extent, and later it became the most devastating war that was ever fought. It came to an end by the atomic bombing at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Thus, followed by the atomic bombing, Japan surrendered before the Allied powers and the World War had come to an end. So far, we have studied the causes that led to the outbreak of the Second World War. Hope these are clear, and if you have any doubt, you are free to contact through the school app. It is enough for today. Take care. Bye.